Hi everyone, my name is Alina. I am the head of user research in Allegro. In this talk, I will highlight some ideas about the mixed method framework. So much has been said about mixing methods, but some points are still to be covered. So let's go. I'll start with the idea that research is cooking. To prepare some juicy insights, we need good quality ingredients. And what's more, we need to know how to mix them. Our ingredients are big data, large and complex to manage volumes of data, and small data, meaning the outcome of user research, both qualitative and quantitative. I will share some ideas on how to prepare a meal out of it. We deal with the enormity of data that surround us today to get the most valuable insight that drive evidence-based product and business decisions. Companies grow and gather even more data. Allegro grew from a startup to one of the largest e-commerce websites in Europe. Can you imagine how many petabytes of data this is? It's a heaven for data analysts and researchers. To give you a better look at it, we are the favorite shopping destination for Poles and a place to do business for over 120,000 companies. Each month, 20 million customers visit our platform. This is equivalent of 80% of all internet users in Poland. As we grow, we collect more and more diverse data. Our job is to know how to manage them and get the knowledge out of them. On the one hand, we have experiments, statistics, algorithms, and machine learning. And on the other, user research with interviews, surveys, and other. My perspective is a perspective of user researcher. Don't worry, you won't find any Python queries in this presentation. So the key question is, do we need more data? And the answer is obvious. Yes, but on one condition. One condition, we need to know how to manage it properly. Now turn to the central part of my talk, which is framework. I will share with you the framework that helped me organize my team's work. It is built in 3 steps, and each of them comes with a challenge. So first is a setup. What answer do you need to your research question? And which methods to mix? Plan, which scenario to choose, so how to put it all together. And manage, how to deal with data diversity and how to cooperate with other teams. So let's go through all 3 steps and shed some light on how you can approach the challenges. Step 1. Step 1 comes with the 3 main questions to which you must find an answer before going further. So think about some ongoing project in your company and try to answer those questions. Where you are in the product development process. On the slide, you can see how we visualize the steps of the process. Before that, of course, there is future thinking with analyzing trends, but it's not about it today. Today, about the data that we collect at each step. Answering where are you in the process will help you to determine what methods are at your disposal. Let's take, for example, exploration. Not only you can use small data, but you can also dig deeper with your analytical team to find out some behavioral patterns. So at each step, mix both small and big data. Next question is, what knowledge do you need? Sometimes, depending on the research question, you need to know how deep you want to go with your research. On the surface, you can get a quick answer to what people think or say. So simple qualitative methods are enough. But remember, that's just an opinion. If you want to explore how people behave and why, this is a starting point to mix different methods. And finally, after you make sure where you are in the product development process and how deep you want to go with your research, now it's time to pick the suitable method. Standard matrix charts show you qualitative and quantitative dimensions, as well as observational and declarative data. This model is slightly behind us, and I want to leave you with a perspective on mixing small and big data. Worth showing here is the power of big data in search for deep desires. Once you've chosen the proper method that answers your research questions, this is time to plan it all out. So now we come to the point where you need to choose the right scenario. And so we have explanatory research, exploratory research, and one more, dynamic research. So first, explanatory research. When data say one thing and users say another. A few weeks ago, our product team responsible for parameters decided to resign from one of the filters. It was a filter that helped to select offers listed at a given time. So analytical data showed that a tiny percentage of customers select this filter when searching for the right offer. We removed this filter for customers and then internet flowed over. They written, Allegro doesn't respect the opinions of customers, give us back this filter. Oh, wow. This is of course not true because we do a ton of research. It turned out that the customers from two main categories, automotive and collections, needed this information. We have reintroduced this feature in those categories. And well, double check what's missing here. When you want to verify user insights, this is exploratory research. Now, an example from the listing page. So I'll mess up a bit if I say that you can list offers and products on Allegro. Several offers can be linked to one product and listed. We have a form that is supposed to help merchants go through all the listing steps. After a quick concept test with users, we didn't have a clear answer on designing this form because our user behavior was, the user behavior was indeterminate. So we rushed the testing phase of several alternative versions and looked at what the data tells us. And the data told us not to make changes for now. And the customer's interference during the quality test only confirms that. And the most exciting scenario to me is when small data and big data work together within one research study. Back to the previous problem with listing offers and products, but from the perspective of customer. Buyers can find on Allegro multiple offers of the same product. We are working on making all the necessary information readily available, but sometimes they are missing and customers need to contact merchants, often via chat. So machine learning helps us understand the reason for the contact, categorize those reasons, and thanks to that, we have a quick feedback from customers. The final step is to manage all the mess. The job to be done here is to make sure that you collate user insights from different sources. Transparency is essential. You need to know who is on board, what kind of data they have, and simply how to get them. Don't forget to use data from outside of your company. Maybe some reports already exist and you will still save yourself time. There should be a person who is an insight leader, the owner of the research process, making sure all perspectives are taken into account and often confronted. In other words, research-led connect the dots. And the role of a research manager is to assure collaboration and connection between teams, between the dots. Last but not least, you should also have one place where you gather all the details about your research project. You can use Data Studio or Google Docs, whatever. The thing is to keep everything in one place, no matter what source it comes from. Finally, I'd like to address the problem of prioritizing insights. I think we all know how to prioritize insights on the experience level, using, for example, severity scale. Now we should go a step further and be able to assess the overall impact on the business, as well as show the cost risk. Of course, we don't do it alone, but with the cooperation of business and technology. But the point is prioritization is more complex, especially when you prioritize strategic insights. I know it already looks like the evaluation of solutions, and it actually is. In my opinion, we should have a helicopter view of a given insight at an early stage, according to the fail fast principle. So, for example, you might have an insight that is slightly less important, but will significantly affect your company's turnover. You may also encounter equivalent insights, but in further analysis, one of them is less expensive. So visualization is secondary here. You may as well it show in the form of a matrix or a table. Let's turn to the next issue. There is a lot of talk about research democratization. I'm looking at it and I have to tell you that the problem often lies in the ineffective distribution of knowledge. So as cognitive psychologist, I spread the idea of cognitive economy. So the expression of it in the user research area is zero waste research. Before you start doing further research, make sure that someone else is already working on a similar topic, and vice versa. If you are doing research, make sure that it reaches all interested stakeholders. So what we do to ensure that knowledge is well distributed? Well, I will give you just 3 hints. We have a knowledge base that connects all the sources in the company. It is a simple website with tags and a really well working search. So stakeholders can search for a report or some research that may be helpful. We have a research ladder, thanks to which the right people get a dose of essential insights every month. We also do a research demo, a special meeting for all interested stakeholders. And last but not least, we often obtain insights from research that do not relate directly to the studied area. Then we do the so-called trash book for stakeholders' data. Okay, I'll stop here. It's enough to digest for today. Thank you for taking time out to listen to my presentation. I hope the framework will be helpful to you as it is to me. Now let's go out and create opportunities for the next level, next mixed method approach. Thank you.